We are continuing dinner with the Fletchers, and we are at the point in the conversation where Nell is talking to their son, Chris.
Yeah.
And she asked him for the $3,000 that he already owed her, and he said that he gave it to her. Nell said, well, it was actually $5,000. You still owe me money.
Yeah, you owe me money.
Then she brought up how her son, Lance, hired Chris and had to fire him.
Yeah.
Lance speaks up, and he says that Chris didn't do what he was supposed to do, pretty much. Chris was saying, you didn't give me my last check. He said you were sitting around and chilling. You were giving the employees the idea that was something that was okay to do, especially since you're my brother.
That's what Lance said to Chris.
Yeah. Well, Nell, she apparently bought the kids' cars except for Alexis, according to Alexis. Yes. Alexis says that her first car she saved up for. And then the Fletchers say that, look, we got you a lump sum of money. Less than a month later, you had a new car. She said, I had to get into a car accident in my hoopty in order for me to get the car while everybody else was in all their nice cars. Lexi went years without talking to them because she felt she was treated differently. Lance says Lexi has a woe is me attitude. Lexi says that she's never been around the family, which was weird to say because she has been in this blended family since she was 16 months old, according to Nell.
Okay.
But she says she don't be around. She says she's never invited on family vacations. She even said one vacation you invited the employees and you didn't invite me, the daughter.
Yeah.
And Nell said that was an employee appreciation vacation.
Okay.
And then she says, y'all were barely at my wedding. We were barely invited.
Yeah.
They said, you told us about the wedding last minute and we were barely on the invite list, but we still came and we showed out for you.
Yeah.
Lexi says if they're going to lie, she's going to leave and everybody can kiss her A.
Listen here. Before we even go into when Fletcher went outside, when Chris went outside, what is your impression so far on this family, Blair?
There is a lot of hurt in this family. That's what I'm going to say.
Come on, take us to therapy.
And what surprises me in a way, but maybe it shouldn't be too surprising, is that both of their children came in at a very young age. So you would think that they would kind of know the flow of their family dynamic and how things go. But I think that the difference when it comes to Alexis is it sounds like Alexis was raised by her mother. And I think all of the other kids were raised in the same house with Nell and Fletcher because the two younger kids are Nell and Fletcher's kids together. Yeah. And then Lance, but usually the mother cares for the child. So it sounds like to me that Alexis was able to see two sides of a way of living, and maybe her mother wasn't living a certain way. Then Nell also tells us that sometimes Alexis is told things that aren't necessarily true. So maybe it's coming from her mom. Maybe the mom has a little bit of jealousy. So yeah, it just sounds like a lot of hurt and a lot of miscommunication. And I wouldn't say necessarily I believe the favoritism, but if you're not around or raised in the same household, you aren't going to do the same exact things as the people who all live together. And I think that's to be expected. But what do you think?
Alexis, I'm taking that's Chris' daughter.
Yeah.
And but of course, 16 months in, like basically all like she knew as a family is Chris and Nell when they basically raised them around their own children and much more. So they are brothers and sisters. As much as it may be a blended family and things like that, they've been raised around each other.
Yeah.
I paid attention to how the siblings was talking to Alexis. And basically, you know how somebody can be wrong 9 out of 10 times? But like that one time you gotta pay attention to.
Yeah.
I think Alexis is entitled. I think Alexis is a brat. I think Alexis may even have some of her story completely made up in her head. Yeah. Right? You're blocking your family. You get what I'm saying? You say you don't get invited nowhere. I see you at the family dinner right now. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? I also paid attention. I went back to watch the last episode to see did I sense this coming? Did you see the storm coming and things like that? When Alexis first came in with her husband, she hugged Nell. It was all happy. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't until quote unquote, it seems like whenever we talking about somebody grievances, because remember, she was talking about Chris about the dogs, and then Alexis was basically coming in
chattering.
Exactly. And that's how she got told, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So there is some brattiness, even if it is correct, even if everybody got a sports car, even if everybody got a luxury car. Nell even said, I told your father that we shouldn't get any of these children these type of cars. And she just make it sound like it's not about the car, even though she's using the car as a, watch this, vehicle to talk about some mistreatment, but it's not about the car. And they are just basically, they have a total different outlook on how the history of their relationship, that being the siblings and even the parents, with this one person. So I am very interested in getting down to the truth.
Yeah. As
a person who is not part of that family and not a therapist. You get what I'm saying?
We just want to get into business.
Exactly. Now tell us what happened when Chris went outside, the father went outside to go talk to his daughter.
Yeah, well, first, everyone's in the house and just pretty much irritated and annoyed with Alexis. The cousin says she wanted to reach over the table and smack her in the face.
Yeah, like, it's little things like that right there. Like, pay attention to how the siblings treat their sister.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Now, going back to your point, that's what the niece said. The sister, I think Kayla, next to her said, basically, go ahead and block me, B.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
And then someone was like, well, she do this all the time, so I don't know why you're getting upset.
So some would say, maybe Alexis got a point, because look how they talking about her when she stormed off. Others may say, look, if we doing the same dance all the time, we get tired of this. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead, Blair.
And also what got me was when Alexis was walking out, she said she'd burn the whole house down.
Well, that was at the car.
At the car. Okay, yeah. Well, Fletcher goes out to talk to her at the car. He says that they've never mistreated her. She says that he wasn't there for her until she was 28. And he said, now you're just lying and you're making me mad.
Yeah.
So he says, you can get the F on.
Yeah.
And he walks back to the house to finish enjoying dinner with the family. He was over her at that point.
Yeah. Now that lets me know little statements like that, in the sense of there's a difference between, from my perspective, of feeling hurt about mistreatment and feeling entitled about mistreatment. She gives off some entitlement, some type of brattiness, like saying to Blair what Blair just said about, you gonna burn down the house. That's not, to me, that don't sound like you're hurt by anything.
It don't sound like I can fix nothing.
No.
It sounds like you got revenge and you're hard against me. For what?
It just sounds like, it just sounds very bratty. And just the idea of, I'm not going to go so hard on how they're talking at the dinner table, because I ain't grow up cussing around my folks and stuff like that. I barely cuss. You get what I'm saying? But I'm saying, some will look at it and say she has a lack of respect based on how she's carrying a conversation with her mom, with her father. You get what I'm saying? Based on the language that she's using. But, some people cuss and have that freedom to do so especially when they're adults.
Yeah. So
I don't want to bunker down on that so much. But there is especially how Nell reaction and talking to her, there is a feeling of, I'm tired of dealing with this. Dude, you get what I'm saying? Like, even during the confessional, Chris tells Nell, like, that is our daughter, and we still have to love her. And she's like, I respect you for that, basically. Like, I respect your choice.
Exactly. I ain't got to do nothing, but I respect it.
Exactly. We go come back to Nell, and we go come back to Alexis. Continue.
Right. Well,